Well, a review into what triggered a loss of support for the Liberal Party in the May federal election has been made public today. The review has delivered a series of observations which I believe basically explain the Liberal Party's become too internal in their focus and needs to actually get back to the core beliefs which have been around for about 80 years, which define trust and encouragement of the individual. That's my take on it. To me, it's absolutely no-brainer. Dr. Scott Prasser from the Centre for Independent Studies is steeped in how the Liberal Party works, or rather, he's supposed to work, and he joins me here in Brisbane. The review really makes this fairly plain, but is this a sort of silly season document? Do you think it's actually going to be noticed?
Well, it will be lip-read. They'll say we're going to act on it. I think it's a pretty weak review. Okay. I don't think it really picks on the core issues.
Yeah.
And the core issue is it hardly talks about policy. The trouble with the Liberal Party in the last 9 years, federally, it's been Labor light. It hasn't differentiated itself from the Labor Party, right? So
trying to attract people who are never going to vote for them to try and vote for them.
And it just started back with Tony Abbott. You know, Tony Abbott before the 2013 election said there'd be no cuts to the ABC, no cuts to the education, and all that sort of stuff. So he sort of hamstrung his government from the word go.
Word one.
Then we've had three leaders, Abbott, Turnbull and Morrison, none of whom have really measured up in a sense. So there's all those things. The Liberal Party came to office back in 2013 without a really clear strategy over 9 years of what they're going to actually do and how to do it. Yeah. Now, everyone in the Liberal Party complains about the ABC, but tell me where is the strategy to think about the ABC? On education, where is the strategy to do about those sort of things? And during this recent campaign, which was pretty pathetic, we had all the fighting going on in New South Wales about the late selection of candidates. Are you kidding me? Disunity, are you kidding me? What else more do we need to see? And we, instead of attacking Albanese, we'd let the Labor Party get away with a small target.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we got shortened the previous election by making him the target. So there we are. So all these sort of things. The report is right about, we've known for a long time that the branch structure has been in decline. Why is the branch structure in decline? Because people don't believe the Liberal Party represents what they want it to represent. And the voices in the branches are ignored and so on. So, and over again, the so-called progressive wing of the Liberal Party keeps saying this is the way to go.
Yeah.
You know, the Birminghams of this world and the other candidates who lost, but everywhere that's been tried, it doesn't work. It didn't work in South Australia. It hasn't worked in Victoria. It's not going to work soon, as we're going to see in New South Wales. So show me the success of the progressive line and I'll say I'll eat my hat.
Because there seems to be this sort of obsession with internal power, you know, who's in charge of this and who's in charge of that, you know, rather than, as you say, mounting a community-focused campaign on something based on the principles, on the belief structures of the party, you know, the stuff that brought them to the dance, and pick that mark on the wall and argue the case and win people over. That's what politics is about.
The party is back to where the United Australia Party was after the 43 election got decimated. Bob Menzies finally got back as leader, and he said it, you know, at 9:44 address, a very famous address. There are 8 things wrong with the United Australia Party. We don't know what we stand for. We haven't got good branch structures. We're not communicating with the electorate. We're not taking young people seriously. We're too busy involved in factions. All those sort of things that could apply to the Liberal Party right now, and you can go around Australia and see it.
Yeah, so if you ignore history, you're condemned to repeat it, isn't it, the truth?
And what did Menzies do? Menzies went and studied how campaigning was working, and he differentiated himself from the Labor Party. Now, back in the late 40s, nationalisation, public housing was all the go, all the intellectuals. Yeah. This is the way to go. You know, people living in suburbia, what a terrible thing.
It sounds very familiar to today, too.
What did Menzies go for? Home ownership. He went for against bank nationalisation, against airline nationalisation, against wartime controls, freeing up Australia. That's what Menzies did, putting a cap on the public service. We just tried to buy our way into office, and all that sort of thing. And by the way, the report talks about, you know, women issue. Well, there were some women who were appointed to cabinet positions who should not have been appointed. They were there because they were women, not because they were competent.
I think women pick up on the malarkey and the insincerity of some utterances faster than blokes, and so I think the women problem is that women sorted out certain people in the Liberal Party faster than blokes did. That's my take on it anyway. But will Peter Dutton make a difference? He at least seems emphatic about many things.
Yes, he is. And I think Peter Dutton's got to sit there and let the ALP, the present government, which I call an extremist government, basically hang themselves, as they're doing, as your previous speaker just talked about power in the economy. We're destroying the economic base of Australia.
We are
just destroying it. It's illogical. So this is an extreme ideological party, and that should be labelled, the Labor Party, as that all the time.
So his biggest test is probably going to be staring down that woke wing of the party.
Yes.
That seems to be in a lot of organisational power.
That's right. And that's what he's got to hold fast on. Now, one thing about Dutton, whom I've met many times, is he's impervious to criticism. You see Dutton, he just takes it. And yes, next question is basically his approach. Now, I think he is the right person for the job. A lot of people won't agree with me. And the Liberal Party has got to stick with him, and they've got to get back to what the Liberal Party is all about.
Oh, I don't disagree with any of that. Scott Prasser, I'm a big fan of Peter Dutton, never hidden that point of view. Thanks so much for your time,
Thank you.
Dr. Scott Prasser.